You know that feeling, right? A project you've poured your heart into gets canceled. Your job description changes overnight. Your entire company decides to pivot. Well, today we're going to dive into the classic story of Who Moved My Cheese to unpack a really simple but incredibly powerful toolkit for dealing with the one thing that's guaranteed in life and work: change.
I mean, seriously, what do you do? It's a question that can just freeze you in your tracks. When everything you've been counting on suddenly shifts, where do you even begin? This simple little story we're about to explore is like a map for finding your way through all that uncertainty. So our story kicks off in a maze. And in this maze, we've got 4 characters all looking for the one thing they believe will bring them happiness. It sounds basic, I know, but it's actually a pretty powerful metaphor for, well, all of us. Okay, so what is this cheese they're all after? Think about it as whatever you want out of life. You know, your personal definition of success. It could be that promotion, financial freedom, a great relationship, or just a sense of peace. It's that thing we're all striving for, the thing that makes us feel happy and secure.
First up, let's meet Sniff. Sniff is basically our intuition personified. He's that part of us that's always paying attention, noticing the little signs that things are about to shift. He can smell that the cheese is getting old and stale long before it's actually gone.
And then you've got Scurry. Scurry is all about action, pure and simple. He doesn't sit around and overthink things. The second he realizes there's a problem, boom, he's off and running, already looking for the next opportunity. Zero hesitation.
And then there's him. And let's be honest, we've all got a little hem in us. He's that voice in our head that gets way too comfortable, that digs its heels in and is terrified of the unknown. So when his cheese disappears, his first reaction isn't action, it's anger, it's denial. He just stands there complaining, wishing everything would go back to the way it was.
And finally, we have Haw. Now, Haw starts out just as scared and stubborn as Hem, but his journey, that's really the heart of the whole story. He's the one who shows us that it's actually possible to get past that fear, to learn from what's happening, and to eventually see change not as a threat, but as a path to something even better.
So, picture this. The cheese is gone. The stable, predictable world they all relied on has just vanished. What happens next reveals 2 totally different ways of dealing with change. And this, right here, is where the real lesson starts. And wow, the difference is night and day. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, they operate on pure instinct. The cheese moved? Okay, we move. Simple. But the little people, Hem and Haw, they get all tangled up in those complex human emotions we know so well. Fear, blame, denial, a sense of unfairness, and it just paralyzes them.
But then, Haw finally works up the courage to step out into the maze by himself. And as he goes, he starts writing what he learns on the walls. These little bits of wisdom become the breadcrumbs for us to follow, our guide through the maze. And this is the core of it, right here. It all starts with accepting a simple truth. Change is gonna happen. From there, it's about anticipating it, paying attention so you're not blindsided. And when it finally hits, you gotta adapt and adapt quickly. You let go of the old stuff to make room for the new. And maybe the most important part, you learn to find the fun in it, to enjoy the adventure of finding something new.
You know, if you take one thing away, it should probably be this. This is Haw's biggest breakthrough. It's not the change that's holding us back. It's our own refusal to let go of what we used to have. That old cheese is like an anchor. Letting go isn't just one of the steps, it's the step.
Okay, so great story. But how do we actually use this stuff? Let's take this allegory and turn it into a practical, real-world toolkit that you can start using like today.
And here's what it looks like in practice. For you as an individual, anticipating change might be as simple as spending 30 minutes a week reading industry news. For your team, it could be doing a regular SWOT analysis. See, the goal is always the same: to stop being a passive victim of change and start being an active participant in whatever comes next.
And listen, this isn't just some feel-good story. These exact concepts are used by some of the biggest organizations in the world to manage huge, messy, real-world change.
I mean, just think about the US military. They use this exact framework to build agile and resilient leaders. In an environment where things can change in a heartbeat, expecting and even embracing that change isn't just a good idea, it is a flat-out requirement for survival.
It's the exact same thing in the corporate world. When companies go through massive shifts, like a merger or a big restructuring, this story becomes a super powerful tool.
It helps everyone understand why the disruption is happening, which cuts down on resistance and helps the whole organization get on board so much faster.
So we've gone through the story, the principles, and the real-world proof. Now, the final, most important question turns to you. How does all of this apply to the maze of your own life?
Because here's the bottom line, the ultimate takeaway. Change isn't a possibility, it's a certainty. In your career and your life, your cheese is either already moved, it's moving right now, or it's about to. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to wait around like him, or are you going to venture out into the maze like Ha?
Rise up, rise high. Let your spirit take flight. Chase the stars, never back down from the fight. We're warriors inside.